What's going on, everybody? I'm Chris Dunn. I am a host of Geek Dunn Ryte on YouTube, as well as at Dunn Ryte on Instagram and TikTok. And you're watching Blerdkast.
You're now listening to Blerdkast, presented to you by Blerdography. What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mark. Welcome back to another episode of Blerdkast. And on today's episode, we're talking about my favorite thing on earth, talking about Power Rangers. And I am joined by Mr. Power Ranger himself, Mr. Chris Dunn. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody about yourself?
Once, just like he said, my name is Chris Dunn. I've been a fan of the show since day one. I guess you can say I'm an OG.
I definitely call you that.
I have really watched pretty much every season, and also have had the privilege of working alongside former Rangers as a videographer for the convention Ranger Stop and Pop. I get around in the Ranger community a little bit.
Okay, well, I know I said I wouldn't bring it up, but I'm pretty sure my audience wants to know, what is it like being the videographer for Ranger Pop and Stop, Ranger Stop and Pop? Ugh, always do that.
You wouldn't be the first, honestly. It's a lot of work. I'll be honest with you. Like, there's when you're trying to cover a convention that has so many moving parts, and just trying to capture the essence of what it's like to be an attendee, or even like trying to attract people to the convention, is like, hey, this convention looks amazing. I want to go to it. It means being at a lot of places at a lot of times. But at the same time, too, it means getting to interact with so many different people, so many different fans, and help them have a fun con experience. There's so many different parts of it that are just really, really cool. And like I said, I mean, it's essentially a job. It's hard work, but it's work worth doing.
That is an understatement, buddy. I have seen you work that convention for a couple of years now, and hard work is the understatement of the year when it comes to that convention. Like, not only do I know what you do, like behind the scenes, like when there isn't a con, but when it's con time and it's go time, you are literally every place at once. You're running around, you're talking to everybody. All of your friends, all of our mutual friends, like the other Rangers of TikTok. Shout out to you guys. You are always like with a smile on your face, might I add, like hectically working and just shooting constantly. Like, I've seen you have a conversation with someone while shooting amazing at the same time, and I'm like, how do you do that? Like,
the grind is real, man.
I've been enamored with your work. Not only like we have become like really good friends over the last couple of years because of Power Rangers, but like your videography work alone, like I'm like, I cannot wait till I can edit on that level and shoot on that level that you shoot. You have been doing Ranger Stop and Pop a great justice.
Thank you. You're very kind on that. I still have so much work to do and grow and everything. I think it's like a lifelong journey to get better at your craft, but to hear that appreciation, it's absolutely it's great. I appreciate that a lot.
No worries, no worries. But I wanted to have you on the show. Well, first of all, I just got to say, this is like maybe my second, maybe third Power Rangers episode of Blerdkast that I've done, and probably the only one as of this recording that is going to be published, because just one reason or another. So I figured, who else would I want to have on the show to talk about Power Rangers? None other than Mr. Ranger himself, Mr. Chris Dunn Ryte, because he does it right.
It's Morphin time.
There you go. I was waiting for it. Wait, where's mine?
It's never around when you need it.
Bro, no, I see this over there behind the chair. I'm gonna just leave it. I'm gonna just leave it alone. We were talking earlier today about the IP of Power Rangers and why it isn't as profitable and successful in 2024 as it should be. Power Rangers being I don't want to say a legacy IP, but it's an IP that's been around for the last 31, 32 years or so, 31 years. And it has a huge fan base. There's multiple conventions across the country. It's only been off the air maybe 2 or 3 times in the last 30 years. As we know, as we're speaking today, obviously the series has, as we know it, come to an end with Cosmic Fury. And there were rumors about another possible season or a reboot, but then since then, Netflix and Hasbro has come out and said that they have shelved the IP. Netflix doesn't want to touch Power Rangers at this point anymore. And Hasbro doesn't seem to be interested because it's not making the money that they want, like some of their other IPs, Transformers. But But with that said, we got into like a really interesting conversation about just Power Rangers in general, and not only what it means to us, just like me and you, but how it could be profitable because of, I don't want to say lack of better business decisions that's been made by Hasbro, by Neil Saban, by the people who have had the IP in their hands and let it slip through time and time again. Let me ask you this. Let me start this off by asking, is the Power Rangers franchise cursed?
I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I mean, it's like typically in like a Hollywood sense, you would like to think like a certain IP is cursed. And that is it a risk? Yes, I do think that it is a risk in that like because of different owners handling the IP differently, that it's seen as a risk. I mean, that's part of the reason why I think Hasbro made the change from the Jonathan Entwistle thing, which I think would have been successful. I do think that the idea of what Jonathan Entwistle was bringing to the table and what I was hearing in terms of what the plan was for the property, I think that would have been successful in like booting a new universe that could have been a profitable IP. However, Hasbro viewed that as a risk, in which, you know, it can be, especially with some of the struggles that Hasbro has had with like all the layoffs and different things like that. As a company, they don't want to really get into risky ventures. And what has been profitable, even though like the Power Rangers fandom is like, ugh, not another Mighty Morphin. They say that, but then they keep buying the toys, right?
Right.
And it's been proven time and time again that Mighty Morphin is a profitable franchise, and so they want to go and you kind of see this all across Hollywood, right? They want to focus on profitable ventures. It's part of why you see Pixar going away from like a lot of original stories to pretty much making sequels of known hit franchises.
Right.
So like I think that's what it is like Power Rangers has become really risky, and the other part of it too though is that they I think that they just don't know what to do with it. Well, Hasbro bought the franchise because the CEO had this big vision, right? He had the vision of the interconnected universe. He had this vision of all this content created through Entertainment One, right? Like E1. But then he passed away, and there wasn't a person that was able to carry the vision on, that had bought the vision and continued pressing that forward. And that's where I see some struggles within the franchise, is that there's not a lack of vision being passed on and a lack of setting up the next person in line for success with what they've been kind of with the alley-oop, for lack of a better term.
Right.
I think that there's just been a few like lack of leadership, setting up the new leadership or setting up whoever is in charge of that particular IP for success.
Right. And as unfortunate as that is, this is the state we are at now. We have a very popular IP that is basically on the shelf that could continue if they stick with the format that they've gone with for the last 30 years, which is the Heinz Saban route of taking the Sentai footage and basically swapping out the Japanese parts with the Japanese actors with American actors, and even in some seasons just ripping off the storyline from the Sentai altogether. They have done some new things, some interesting things like original Zord footage, to some degree, original suit ideas with Cosmic Fury, original Ranger footage like with Dino Fury, where they had like footage that wasn't in Ryu Soldier, that was in Power Rangers of them in Ranger suits. You know, they were bringing back a lot of things that they took out of the series, like teleportation, older cast members, like we had David Yost come back and reprise his role as Billy Cranston in Cosmic Fury. They were doing things, and the interest for the franchise is still there. You had the 2017 movie that was supposed to have a sequel. Obviously, that got shelved for so many different reasons. Again, the regular seasons of Power Rangers, where again you take the Sentai footage, they could have rebooted this series, which is what they were in talks of doing. You have the comics, and then even a cartoon or animation that's not like Go-Go Loser Ranger, but an actual Power Rangers animation. All these things were in the works and in the talks and had the fandom hype at one point. There was a meme that was going around, I think last year, where it had 4 pills, and the question was, if you could choose one of these scenarios for the state of Power Rangers, I think you know what I'm talking about. And it was like, one pill is more once and always type specials, which would have been great. Like that would have been perfect for anniversary seasons, because if you look at what Tokusatsu and Toei is doing right now, they're just coming up with anniversary seasons for like different Power Ranger seasons. Like they're combining what was the most recent one I think I saw, where they had
King Odra and Deca Ranger.
Yeah, there you go. They had King Odra and Deca Ranger. They had King Odra and Kyryuger. And the Kyryuger Ranger having a second form or something, a battleizer form. It was dope. And now they're doing a Aubrey Ranger anniversary season, and we could have definitely kept just doing like once and always type seasons like every year or every other year with Power Rangers, on top of maybe continuing the 10 to 20 episode season arcs or something. And with Hasbro being the owner of the IP, and with them having Transformers and all these other TMNT, they have these big IPs and budgets to do big movies and explosions and cool things we would want to see, but we're not going to get that. I don't know where I was going with that. That was just venting about the state of the world that we're in. But all right, let me ask you this: from one fan to another, how would you want to see the franchise continued? If it was to be picked up by somebody else, or Hasbro gets off their asses and figure out something to do with it?
So the way that I would want to see it is, I mean, honestly, I think we missed out on a good thing with Netflix. Jonathan Entwistle's Interconnected Universe would have been great, because like the idea of multiple universes with multiple stories being told, and with catering to different audiences, I think is definitely the only way to go. Having something that connects with like the older fans, the ones that watched the show as kids and now they are adults. Having one that's catered to the kids that we always know and love, and having an animated version, would have worked really, really well. I do think that what I would love to see is actually, if you want a Mighty Morphin-esque reboot that actually kind of works within the universe, you can continue the story of Once and Always and turn it into a whole new team of Mighty Morphin with powers passed on from, and having the previous Rangers as mentors, which could be quite interesting. You have the connection of the old, and then you have the excitement of the new. And like, I think Charlie did a fantastic job in playing Trini's daughter, and having more people like that. And once again, kind of going back to the roots with somebody with a martial arts background playing those characters. I think that could really draw people in. One of the issues with Once and Always was like the rush production. I mean, that's one of the things that was kind of a problem. I mean, I think Netflix was willing to throw more money at it, and Hasbro was like, no, because once again, we're talking about risk. And that was something that that they were kind of worried about, and kind of posed some of the issues with Once and Always, as well as Cosmic Fury. But I do think that having Once and Always kind of connect into this like new this new Mighty Morphin of in a sense, and you can even like expand that now that Billy kind of has this understanding of building Zords. I mean, he kind of built the Zords in Zeo, and if there were a need for new Zords connected to the Mighty Morphin powers, with that connection to the Morphin grid, I think that could be really cool, really enticing, and open us up to a whole new generation connected by the old and the new.
I agree with you there so much. But I do want to bring up a couple of things. Now, in the case of Netflix, when it comes to Once and Always, the one-time special, and the last season of Power Rangers being Cosmic Fury, I feel like Once and Always, well, first of all, I'll say they both were successful enough. I think Once and Always may have been more successful than, say, the Cosmic Fury season, for so many different reasons. And if you want to talk about Rush, I think Cosmic Fury, no, they both were definitely rushed, but it seemed like I don't know, Cosmic Fury just really dropped the bar for me. And I know that's weird saying that because a lot of fandom swear by it, they love it, this and that. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, we got a lot of good things, but like one is 10 episodes and we only got you only gonna tell but so much story with 10 episodes. A lot of the decisions that they made just were convoluted and made no sense. Like, why destroy the Zords? Like, that made no sense. How they defeated Lord Zed. But overall, the fans seem to like it enough to want to see more of it. Now, in the case of Once and Always, that was definitely a success. Even though it was rushed, even though it wasn't the version that we were meant to get, even though it was surrounded by the tragedy of JDF, even though he wasn't going to be in it regardless, that was more well received by the fans than Cosmic Fury, I feel like.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, even with like some of the criticisms that movie had, um, it really was received well, even by like the silent majority. I'd like to say. I think the a lot of the fans that are pretty vocal on the internet, we'd like to believe that they're the majority just because they're the loudest voices, but I really think that they are the vocal minority versus the silent majority, which
Right.
really is what helps fund and finance shows like Power Rangers or make companies want to pick it up. But I do agree that Cosmic Fury could have been better if and from what I understand, Netflix was even willing to throw money to get 20 episodes of it. But the powers that be, I mean, once again, this could just be rumor, whatever, you know. But if we had been able to get 20 episodes, if we had the time to just let it breathe a little bit, then I think it could have been even better. But I think at that point, Hasbro had already kind of decided that they were kind of done for a myriad of reasons.
Right.
But I mean, even having I think one of the difficulties that Hasbro has is that they have not been able to engage that real like profitable demographic, which is boys ages 8 to 10. They with their toys and everything like that. Even though my son loves like the Dino Fury toys, he loves his Cosmic Fury Morpher and things like that. But overall, it hasn't really made kids bug their parents like, I want that. You know, like some of the toys of the past did. Like my son, he goes back to the Mighty Morphin toys all the time. And because of the playability of it, or he goes back to previous season toys, Dino Charge, or like even some of the Disney era toys. Those have really kind of captured things, and that's part of the reason why Hasbro connected with Playmates, because Playmates makes fun toys. Like
Right.
they make toys that you want to play with. I mean, they may not be like these nice collectors things that we know and love from the Lightning collection, but they are fun, which you know that's really what kind of funds these shows and sells. So I think that that's one of the things that they're struggling with is like, okay, you know, we want to be this production company, we want to tap into this market, we want to be able to do these things, but we're struggling with tapping into this market, and that's one of the other arguments for them getting away from the Sentai footage is that there's always that comparison. like I think because we have so much access to Sentai and stuff, we kind of almost have this expectation for it to be a one-to-one exchange of Super Sentai to American stuff. And that's not really possible or plausible, even with an American audience, or especially with an American audience. But like, I think having that access, it makes it more difficult because there's always going to be that comparison. And Hasbro's like, well, you know what? We can create our own stuff that brings the interest. I mean, we've been doing transforming robots for years. So like constantly having to have our stuff compared to another toy company, it really kind of takes the wind out of our sails. And so I see the argument for wanting to go completely original, especially as Sentai has gotten further and further away from the traditional formula that worked well within the Power Rangers franchise.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Because even Sentai has gotten weird for Sentai sake. It's almost kind of comparable to like how anime is at some point, especially like when you look at Zenkaiger, you look at Dawn Brothers, especially Dawn Brothers. You look at even
Yeah.
King Oger, which I really like that whole aesthetic, but
Oh,
it's
I love
also all green screen, and
it.
you know the suits are completely different. They look more like common writers now. Those 3 seasons in particular, even with Boom Boonger, I'm kind of like, whoa, those helmets are not what was I was expecting. And just some of the things that they are doing in Sentai, I'm like, oh, this is all anime stuff
Boom,
that
boom, change.
they but you hit on so much stuff that like I don't even know where to begin. Like one, okay, Hasbro can't target the Power Rangers main demographic, which is kids like 4 to 10 years old, when one, Power Rangers has always been nothing but a commercial for the toys that they sell from day
Mm-hmm.
one, hands down. From 93 to now. So that whole aspect just doesn't make sense. A toy company is having trouble selling toys to children with a basically a 22-minute commercial for those toys. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I will say this. It's once again the comparison to the original, right? Because like
Right.
they use the Q Ranger Zords, right?
Which I
That
think was a mistake.
that was designed by Plex for Bandai, right?
Right.
For Bandai Japan. So like everything that they've been doing from Beast Morphers all the way to Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury, they've been essentially again competing with Bandai Japan, and you're sitting there having to try and tap into a market for something that you didn't even create yourself. That's a little tough.
I get that, but I'm gonna bring this up. So if you have already have the Transformers IP, meaning you know how to build transforming robots. Basically, most of Power Rangers toys is just transforming toys. You in Dino Fury, you started making your own original footage, and in Cosmic Fury, you create your own suits. Those suits are garbage, by the way, but you did create your own suits. Kudos to you. Why not go the step further and create your own Zords? I know that increases the animation budget or the production budget, which defeats the whole purpose of having Power Rangers in the first place because you're saving money by using the Japanese footage in X, Y, and Z. Essentially, they will be creating a whole new IP that's not necessarily Power Rangers if they do that. Oh my God, that's the wrong question. All right, so moving on.
Yeah, I mean they essentially, yeah, I mean you're right there. I mean they would be uh, creating their own genre, which I mean, well, I think they would just be picking up where or expanding upon American Toku. I think that's kind of the genre that we're looking at now, which actually started with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and then
Right.
expanded with Big Bad Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, Masked Rider, and even like Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. American Toku has really grown and expanded, and including a lot of people don't really think about this, but Godzilla is a Tokusatsu
Right.
franchise. So bringing Godzilla with the Godzilla versus King Kong franchise, that is kind of spilling into that American Toku thing. So if they were to make their own, I mean, it would just be kind of feeding into American Tokusatsu and expanding that.
I'm so happy you brought up American Tokusatsu. We're gonna put a pin in that because I'm gonna bring that back towards the end of the podcast. Because that whole American Power Rangers cinematic universe, from what we talked about at the beginning of this episode, I have some theories and thoughts about how that could have gone, but we'll put a pin in that. With the current state of Power Rangers now, with it basically just collecting dust on the shelf, on Hasbro's shelf right now, what would it take to bring the IP back? And how should they go about it? Well, first of all, let me just ask this. Given with what we just said, that they're competing with Bandai for basically their competitor for toys, should Hasbro even continue with Power Rangers at this point? Should they just sell it back to, say, oh, I don't know, Disney?
You know what? I actually think Disney could. I mean, if we look back, the Disney era had some of the most iconic Power Rangers seasons, right?
Yeah.
When a lot of people go back and they talk about their favorite series, a lot of them are Disney era, right?
Yeah. If I could, because nostalgia has such a grip on my soul. Like, obviously, the Zordon era, the first 7 seasons of Power Rangers are where my heart lies. But
yeah,
if I had to logically, like, gun to my head, say what is your favorite season and you only get one, it would definitely be from the Disney era. I think they only had like maybe one miss in that whole era, which was Operation Overdrive, for those who want to know. But every other season outside of Operation Overdrive was a fucking hit. It just depends on if you was just interested in it. Like, Time Force is really good. It's not my personal favorite season, but like, people love Time Force. RPM, Mystic Force, even Jungle Fury was really good. And I was heavy into the Sentai around that time too. So
I loved Geki Ranger.
Yeah, oh my god, Geki Ranger was so good. So I've asked this question to people before, and I've gotten a lot of interesting answers. So let me ask you this: do you think Disney is regretting selling the Power Rangers franchise back in 2008, 2009? And B, if they were to reobtain the IP now in 2024, given the current state of the MCU and how that's starting to fall off, do you think they would go for it?
I think that they could go for it. I mean, I don't think that they regret it. Honestly, like they had the moms panel and everything like that, and they weren't really like that. But then they got Marvel, and working with Marvel, even though they had a lot of misses, I mean, I feel like they kind of like lost direction with that, and where it's kind of like mitigating risk again, right? Like the fear of doing anything really risky. I feel like, and even Bob Iger kind of touched on this a little bit, where it's like message over story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I think that there's like with them taking a step back on the MCU, that we're starting to get better storytelling, and messages come through good storytelling. You don't have to bludgeon people over the head. It just comes through the story. And I think with that experience, with what they're going to be doing with the MCU, and they're even taking a step back with Star Wars as well.
They definitely need to take several seats with Star Wars.
Yeah, they do. They're learning from that. And I think now would be a good time to reintroduce Power Rangers with Disney. I do think that if they do, we should take a little bit of time, maybe have a little bit of a breather, give a little bit of time for a reset, and even have the fandom cool down a little bit, kind of cool their jets. I think we need a little bit of time to figure ourselves out, see other people. But just to give them time to really give some thought, as opposed and be proactive as opposed to reactive on the franchise. I feel like any sort of moves right now would be very reactive and fear driven. That would like make it to where, oh my goodness, like, oh, we need to do this now or else we're gonna lose everything. No, just take the time, invest and then make sure that it's a good story that is not going to treat children like they're stupid, and also make it to where parents are going to be able to connect with their kids. I think the perfect franchise for that is Bluey. Bluey is a show that teaches very complex concepts, right? But
Mhm.
they do it in a way that doesn't treat children like they're dumb. And on top of that, it's very entertaining for parents. There's like a lot of good jokes for parents. So it's able to set up this watchability relationship between parent and child, because there's so many kid shows that just annoy the living snot out of me that I can't. It's like I can only handle so much of watching it, but I
Mhm.
can watch Bluey again and again and again with my kids, and both my kids just love it. Whereas, like, I think Power Rangers kind of needs something like that, and that comes with good storytelling, taking your time, making sure that you are just trying to create good content as opposed to profit, because the profits are going to come from a good story.
I agree with you, but let me ask you this. Because of the nature of Power Rangers in itself, it comes without controversy. It has basically the same controversy it's had from day one.
Yeah.
It's too violent for the age demographic that they're trying to reach out for. Weapons, guns, things like that. Power Rangers has been it's been around. I've heard plenty of news articles about parents against Power Rangers for one reason or another, whether it's too violent or it's anti-Christian because of monsters and demons and things like that. With all that said, oh my God, my grandmother killed me that year. I was 7 and made me sick. But with that said, how can you make Power Rangers for both the age demographic that's going to want to buy the toys, that's basically going to make the money to keep making the show, but also something that the parents are interested in? Because the parents, yeah, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of kids programming out there. I'm not familiar with Bluey, but I keep hearing about it. There's other shows like Steve Universe, you can say Avatar, that's compelling shows that's meant for kids but have good stories that adults are into. Do you
uh,
think Power Rangers can achieve both those things?
I do, because they did it back in the 90s. Initially, I mean, yes, there were the controversies and things like that, but I think also times have changed a little bit, because how many parents are bringing their 8-year-olds to a PG-13 MCU movie?
All of them.
But right,
Yeah,
right.
all of them.
How many kids are bringing their kids to? How many parents are bringing their kids to a Deadpool movie? Right,
All of them.
right. So like times have really changed. I don't think there's that much complaining in terms of violence, and now parents are also starting to look a lot more for messaging that's not going to bludgeon them over the heads. They're looking for something entertaining for themselves to watch with the kids that's not like super duper annoying. They're looking for that connection. But I do think that you can. I do think Power Rangers does require a little bit of camp. I mean, it's in the name, Power Rangers. That doesn't sound very adult, right? Like,
Right.
I don't think you're going to be able to cater to really that many adult audiences, even with just the name alone, right? You're not going to get new adults watching it, right? But I think just trying to focus on good story, that I mean, the kids are going to get it. The kids are really, really intelligent, especially in the age of information. They're a lot smarter
Right.
than we want to give them credit for. I mean, that there's so many times that I'm sitting there thinking, oh, my kids can't do this, and then I look over and they're doing the very thing that I thought that they weren't going to do.
Right.
Um, and so don't treat kids like they're stupid. Make something with just good story, and then if you really want to hook parents in, um throw in like characters and stuff like that, and do maybe like a spin-off on those characters to expand the story into something a little bit more. But then when they show up in Power Rangers, you can be like, oh yeah, well, you know what, they did this, and you're expanding the story, or giving conversation pieces between the parents and the kids. That's something that can pull them in a little bit more. But I think once again, it's just about focusing on story, trying to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that there's really good content.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, it's kind of tough with budgets and things like that, but that's also why you want to make sure that you have a good partner or a financier. I do think that at this point, because the intention behind owning the Power Rangers franchise has been lost with the passing of the CEO of Hasbro.
Mhm.
I do think that it would be to their benefit to sell the franchise, but be careful about who they sell it to.
Right. That's why that was literally my next question. If they were to sell the franchise, who would, outside of Disney, since we already brought them up,
Yeah.
who would be even interested in buying the Power Rangers franchise? Who even has the money to buy the Power Rangers franchise? Again, not Disney. And who will we ultimately want to have the Power Rangers franchise at this point? Because we want Power Rangers, but we don't want a repeat of the Neo Saban era or the Hasbro era, or eventually what happened in the Disney era.
So I think that there's a few possibilities of who could purchase Power Rangers. Netflix being one of them. I mean, we see
That's a good idea.
all the time. I mean, like they've done an amazing thing with Cobra Kai.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, I love it. I hate that I have to wait until November for the other half of that season. But the they do a really good job with a lot of their produced shows, Stranger Things, all these other ones. So then they have the potential of doing not just good for like the main part of the franchise, and then if they were to partner with Playmates, I think Playmates should probably pick up the toy license or even bring it back to Bandai America. But who knows? I don't know what Bandai America is thinking at this point.
Right.
But the but Netflix could do some good, bring in that spin-off that I was kind of talking about. But also another possibility, I would think, in terms of plausibility, would be Amazon. I mean, they've done a great job with like The Boys and a few other franchises. If you're wanting to bring things into a more adult market, but at the same time too, they have struggled in some sense of storytelling in certain areas. It's just a matter of like who they bring on in that sense. They have the money to do it. They could do it. I just don't know that they would have the reach in comparison to Netflix. And then I do think that even though they're looking at selling their company, I still think Paramount could do some good, like Viacom, anything with it within that. I know that they're going to want to push it through Nickelodeon, which has caused some issues for the Power Rangers brand, especially trying to like force the 20 episodes per season thing and adding the super line to those Power Ranger seasons. But
Don't remind me. Do not
even
remind
still
me.
though, they were still making good sales. They were still making the franchise profitable. And honestly, there's it was like the combination of Nickelodeon with Saban's rules. Haim Saban's rules were a little restrictive and kind of annoying with the all the fart jokes in Ninja Steel.
Oh my god.
Those were the worst.
Well, Monty and the other dude that were the Bulk and Skull characters from that season, I hated them so much.
Now I like a good fart joke every now and then, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was so
Um,
ridiculous.
but like if Paramount were to split the company and have Nickelodeon kind of separate and then just like maybe focus on just Paramount Plus with the Power Rangers franchise, I do think that there's some good that could come from that, especially if they were to lean into more of the Star Trek production quality as opposed to like the standard Nickelodeon production quality.
Mm.
If they were to go that way, they could do some good. I'll tell you one company that I don't want touching Power Rangers with even a 100-foot pool is Warner Brothers Discovery.
I would have to agree. I would 1000% agree. I'd rather have the evil empire, which is Disney, take the reins back than to see it in Warner Brothers Discovery's hands. Out of everybody that you mentioned, I would prefer Netflix because I feel like they would treat it the best with the utmost best quality. They will bring back actual punches and kicking
Yeah.
and actually using weapons and martial arts. Like I noticed in Cosmic Fury, there was no real punching and kicking in martial arts. Like where was all that at in Cosmic Fury?
Agreed.
But I do feel like, and this is partly because of the way how the Sentai has gone and how they have done this one aspect of their show. I feel like if Power Rangers does continue in the future, we're going to 100% lose Zords altogether. They will start making Power Ranger seasons where they have no Zords or real Zords. Because for one, they started doing CGI and all this crazy computer generation stuff. If you go look at Zenkaiger and
Yeah.
like their CGI computer stuff versus their actual guy in a robot suit stuff that they did, it's terrible. Don't get me wrong, it does upgrade in Dawn Brothers, but it still looks terrible in Dawn Brothers, especially like the CGI Rangers with pink and black being CGI. And I'm just like, oh, this is bad. And then that whole season, the Zords were like they were fighting in a video game realm, and I'm just like, no, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Zords is gonna suffer because even on the Sentai side, the Zords are like bricks. Just compare, like, look at Ryuk, the adaptation of Cosmic Fury, their Zords that they got, the Cosmic Fury Zords is a brick. I hate it.
It really is a little chunky boy,
Right.
Mega Zord.
Like the Dino Fury Megazord. Now, I slept on the Dino Fury Megazord. I initially thought it was just gonna be bad because of like what I saw from Ryu Soldier and just kind of what I saw in Power Rangers, but and the overall design is kind of like it's not that great. Dinosaurs again. I get it, Mighty Morphin. That's what I did it. But
they're Legos.
Right. That's what I was getting at. They're Legos and it's all interchangeable, and you can just build and create your own Zord, like Zord Builder stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that's such an ingenious idea for Megazord, built-in Lego Megazords. Why have
my son loves it?
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, Ryu Soldier and Dino Fury, I want to give another look at because of the Zords alone. For me, I feel like Zords will make or break the season. It's kind of why I don't like Time Force. Why Go-Go Sentai Bokenger is both good and bad because it's just brick Zords. But that just is my rant. That's just me. But yeah, like you said, I think Netflix would give it the best care. I do think if Power Rangers continues forward, we would lose Zords, which is like literally 1/3 of why anyone likes Power Rangers. Is Zords, it's teenagers with attitudes, and it's rainbow spandex and weapons and shit. That's why people like Power and martial arts and stuff. Because it's not like Power Rangers has ever really had great stories until you get to Disney era. Some exceptions like Lost Galaxy ended up being really good, and Space ended up being amazing. So much other stuff, but I forgot what I was going to go with this. Like, we're talking about this stuff now. We're just talking about Ranger stuff. If they were to continue Power Rangers and they were to continue it using whatever formula by adopting some form of or some amount of Sentai footage, which would be the next Sentai that they select for the next Power Ranger season, in your opinion?
Some people say Kira Major, but I don't think that would work as well for an American audience as a lot of people think that it would.
I do agree to that.
And honestly, like their poses remind me a little bit too much of the Ginyu Force.
Yes. Oh my God, you said it.
I said the thing. So I mean, I don't think that would work as well. I do kind of think that Lupin Ranger versus Powder Ranger could work.
I do think that could work. We'll have an actual versus Ranger season. I know we kind of had that with Ninja Storm a little bit, but this will be an actual versus Ranger season, so I think that would be good.
And I think that could actually work with the Hexagon theme.
Right. That's really good. I didn't think about that.
I think that could really work well in like a Rangers versus Rangers kind of situation. But then they come to find out that they're really more connected than they realize, being bridged by the Silver Gold Ranger. But like having one be kind of like that government organization, and then the other one being vigilantes.
Right. That would be a really good idea. Oh, and the JDF would obviously be Lupin X. Obviously he'll be Lupin X or Pata X. But obviously we can't have him, so we have to have somebody else. But that would be good. I would like to see, and this is my long shot one because they'll never do this as a Power Ranger season, but to see Zenkaiger as a Power Ranger season, and
Ooh.
somehow they incorporate Zenkai Black and Zenkai Red along with Zenkaiser, and then like do something with the Kikinoids for the Megazords. Because obviously they probably won't be Rangers, but like you can still have a 3 Ranger team that honors all past seasons of Power Rangers, and you bring up the lore and stuff. But with that said, the last time they did an anniversary season like that, they royally fucked it up.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. There's another Super Sentai that I think could work well. If I mention this video game franchise, you'll know exactly which one I'm talking about. I think it would work well for the Minecraft lovers. I got to look this up now because I just had a brain fart on
No, go for it.
what it was.
I was gonna say another Sentai I would love to see that's probably more likely to see as a Power Ranger season would be King Oger.
Yeah, I could actually see that working. I mean, especially since the filming style was really heavily based on the filming style, the filming technology from the Mandalorian.
Right.
I think that was really helpful.
Which I'm gonna say, like, I both is ingenious and also hated it because in the Sentai, in Osama Sentai King Oger, you can tell when they're in front of that green screen wall.
Yeah, you can.
You can tell they don't. I swear to God, the 95% of that season is shot in just that one green screen thing. They might got 1 or 2 shots of them actually outside and somewhere in Japan
100%.
or a studio shot. Because, like, on the one hand, like, I love the cockpits for their Megazords. Like, they're in it, and like I love that. And I'm like, that's so dope. But then, like, when they're in the throne rooms and all this and that, I'm just like, please get off in front of the damn green screen.
I mean, you could also see that they carried that over into Kamen Rider as well with Kamen Rider Saber.
I haven't even watched Kamen Rider Saber, so I'm gonna just leave it at that.
But so the Sentai that I was thinking of was Dobusu Sentai Zuoh. That one I think could work. It would be interesting, and animal Sentai or animal themed does sell very well in the kids market.
Yes, but you bring up my hated rival, brick Megazords, and Zuoh The Zord is literally a brick. It's
They're
bricks that combine with bricks.
I know, but at the same time too, they look like freaking Minecraft. I mean, the morpher itself almost looks like a Rubik's cube. There's like a lot of things that could play on or attract kids, right?
Right.
So like that's kind of where I'm thinking with that, where it could work. I mean, I do like that was one of the things that I wasn't really like keen on with that, but I mean there were some like really cool suit designs like the Zuoh whale upgrade for the Red Ranger.
That did look nice, and I did like the embroidered print on the actual suits themselves with the animal print. That did look kind of cool. Their team super where they get more animalistic was cool. Zuoh The World, oh my god, need that evil ranger in my life.
All right.
Like, how do you beat an ass with a fucking fishing lure? Like, come on, that was badass. But everything else about that hurt my eyes. Like the Zords, oh my god, like holding origami Zords is cool, but they are all cubes and they just stack up on top of each other. Just each me, son, Zuoh, king, and I'm just like. I hate these Zords. I hate these Zords. Okay, but as much as I hate it, you are right. That will probably make the best Power Rangers season, and it could be a perfect sequel to Wild Force.
Yeah, it could. It really, honestly could. I didn't even think about that before, but that would do really, really well because it could be an expansion of the powers from the Animarium.
Right. Yeah. Just got crushed in the box, and they stayed that way. Oh no!
They got captured.
Right, the jewels that they had the animals stored in. Okay, all right, whatever. I lost it. It's cool. So we talked about a Power Rangers cinematic universe, and you brought up other Power Ranger clones in the American Tokusatsu lineup. With that said, everything that's a Power Ranger clone outside of Power Rangers itself, you have Big Bag Beetleborgs. Mash Rider, Kamen Rider, Dragon Knight, Mystic Knights of Team Norg. What else? Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, Tattooed Teenage Aliens from Outer
Fighters from
Space.
Beverly Hills.
Right, all right, there you go, from Beverly Hills. I forgot. Oh God, that was such a long time ago.
And it was so
Um,
campy, dude. Oh, such bad production.
Right. Oh my God. And like so many other like Power Ranger clones or ripoffs that you can use. We could have had a genuine cinematic universe of Power Rangers,
Mm-hmm.
not quite like the MCU, but I would love to get it as close to the MCU as possible, where you have like a big back Beetleborg movie come out with the actors from back then that are adults now recomprising their roles, and you can bring back Mash Rider, even though that was kind of weird for Power Rangers at the time. You can bring back Cybertron, even though it got canceled and never premiered. You can bring back VR Troopers, and have a huge Tokusatsu Americanized universe. Like, come on, I would
Yeah.
love to see like Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, which is based off Gridman, which is also kind of a ripoff of Ultraman when you look at Gridman. I don't know where Tattooed Teenage Aliens from Beverly Hills came from, or what gave them that idea for that. They need to stop that. But I mean,
But
but
their
because I
theme song
remember it,
slapped. Their theme song slapped, man.
it did. I do remember the theme
That
song.
hit.
They had a black Zordon that was a professor or something, which was cool. VR Troopers had a black Zordon too, and then like they formed their Mega Zord by like fusing into one giant dude in armor, which was awesome, but also like weird. I didn't
Yeah, it
understand
was
it. I just
weird.
watched it. And
And
then they did that thing with their arms, so they made that square thing, and then I was like, oh, that's so tight. That's so tight. But the rest of this is weird. What is
yeah,
this?
I mean, their mentor is basically slime in a bucket.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, and he's like, I would now give you your powers, and it's this like slimy tentacle in there, and I'm just surprised the girls didn't go ew, 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 ew,
Oh, that's crazy. I want to say outside of Power Rangers and Beetleborgs, my favorite out of all the clones was Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. It
Okay,
was
yeah,
out
I like
around
that
the
one.
same time of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season, maybe season 2 or 3. But it was on USA Network. And I don't know why I love that show so much. It only had 2 seasons, but like they basically just turned digital, went into the computer and fought digital monsters. But like they had an Ultraman figure that was Gridman. It had like a Tyrannosaurus Rex Dragon Zord thing, and then the other 3 teams they that were in a rock band. By the way, they all were in a rock band, and then they had like they piloted their own Zords that combined into their own Zord, and then was armor for Ultraman slash Sam, who was the leader, who was Ultraman or Gridman. And then they switched out the drummer with the blonde. I remember that so vividly.
Yeah. Yeah, and so there were a few things about Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad that I really liked. One was opposed to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They had Mighty Morphin had like the single morphin call of its morphing time, and then they just shouted out their individual dinosaurs, right?
Right.
Where they each had their own individual morphing call based on their personality, which I liked. Um,
My favorite one was the slow, not slow, but the dumb guy. I think he was the bass guitarist or something. No, he was
yeah.
the first drummer. He was the first drummer. He always changed his up every single time they did it.
Yeah.
Because like Sam would have the samurai guys and then pump up the power and let's kick some giga butt. And then the other
Yeah.
dude would just ramble for like a minute and then he's just into the computer. He goes. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And the other thing that I liked was there was like some true character development in that series, especially with the guy that was originally working with Kilokon, and then
Right.
he saw the error of his ways. Like I felt like there was some great character growth with that as he started to see them as friends.
Right. I agree. And then it got canceled, and that was that.
Boo! They ran out
Right.
of footage.
Well, yeah, because what Gridman was only like 152 episode long thing in Japan. And then they went on, like, in Japan, they have tokusatsu, and every year or every season, they just go to the next hero or the next protagonist in that franchise, and they'll have new design, new powers based off something else, whatever the case may be. They do it with Super Sentai, do it with Kamen Rider, do it with Space Sheriff, Ultraman, Godzilla. That's their formula. It never made sense to me, but I just grew to love it. That's just what they do, and every year I'm like, yeah, I'll change up my power set every year. I'm fine with that.
Well, one of the things that I think is really cool about the company in Japan that's created Gridman is that they actually liked Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad to the point where they even show love in the new anime SSSS Gridman.
Yes, I'm so happy you bring that up because I have seen a couple of episodes of it, and not only does it like pay so much homage to the original American series, but they've upgraded it. They have new forms, they have new vehicles. It's dope. I actually need to go back and watch more of that. Speaking of,
too.
I need to go watch more Go-Go Loser Ranger because that's gotten really good too.
Yeah, actually, I need to start watching that one.
Oh my god, we've been talking about Power Rangers for like an hour now. All right. All right, so let's just go ahead and wrap this up. Let's just do a couple of quick fire questions and answer. And I'll do this differently from how I've done this before. Instead of me asking all the questions, let's just go back and forth. Since we're both Power Ranger fans, we both do Ranger Pop and Stop, we both do the convention scene. Let's just go back and forth and ask each other quick fire answers about Power Rangers. Quick fire questions and answers about Power Rangers. I'm sorry. All right, so I guess I'll start first. This is my show, but I'll start first. You only get to pick one. Only one. What is your favorite season of Power Rangers?
Whew, that's a loaded question. Right now, it's Lightspeed Rescue. All right, who is your favorite Sixth Ranger? You only get to pick one.
Oh, God damn it. Why I can't stick to my own rules.
Payback's terrible.
Okay. Zuoh Gold, hands down. Zuoh Gold.
That's a good one. That's a good strong one.
Hate the actor, but when he showed up in that black and gold with that staff, I was like, pimping ain't been pimping since pimping been pimping. That's an outfit. If I was a ranger, that would be my outfit. The entire team outfit will look like that, just the different color variations. But yeah,
let's be real. The voice actor for him was the real Ranger.
True. That is true. That is definitely true. And fuck the triplets, because they're gonna watch this. No, I'm joking. The triplets are cool. But they will watch this and complain about them not being mentioned in the episode. So there you go.
Well, all right. You know what? I'm joking. You're OGs, okay? You're OGs.
They are OGs. You're OGs. I'll say this. I like the triplets more now than I like the original actor of Austin St. John. So hey, you got one on me, triplets.
I'm not touching that one.
Okay, all right. That's gonna be my soundbite from this episode. I'm gonna post on TikTok. He's gonna respond to that because I follow him. He's all right. Moving on. You only get one. What is your favorite Megazord out of all 30 seasons?
You know what? I gotta go classic Thunder Megazord. There's just something about that kind of samurai look that I just love.
Okay. I can deal with that.
Okay, so favorite final attack.
Favorite final attack? Like team attack or solo attack?
Take your pick.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, that's a good one. I can only pick one though, right? You know what? Zuoh Gold again. It's time for a gold rush. Cause I still do that. Like I take like my broom when I'm cleaning up, and I'm like, it's time for a gold rush. And I just be spinning around in the house. I live by myself, so no one sees me do this. So yeah, I'm gonna go Zuoh Gold again. Final answer. There's plenty of contenders in that category. But I only perform time for a gold rush next to the Kamehameha wave. So there you go.
Okay. All right.
If you could be a ranger on any season of Power Rangers, and again, I know this is gonna probably be like, oh, this is my favorite one. No, there's a little bit more to this.
Okay.
You had to be the yellow or pink ranger from that season, which season would it be?
Ninja Storm. Ninja Storm Yellow Ranger.
Ooh, okay, okay. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely picked that one because also he does motocross, which is kind of cool.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I personally would have picked Magic Yellow or Mystic
that's a
Yellow
good one too.
because I like lightning powers. Plus, he was an interesting character. Like he's a
Yeah, he
ginger,
was.
interesting character. And I love his Zord. It's a pagoda. So love his
Yep.
Zord.
That is pretty cool. Okay, so uh if you could pick one weapon to use to fight monsters out of all the weapons in the Power Rangers universe, which one would you pick?
Like individual ranger weapon or like
Yeah,
can they be combined?
individual ranger weapon.
Okay. Um hmm. I'm gonna go with Zio Gold. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm not gonna do that again. That's three in a row. But seriously, like the gold staff is like really up there
It
in
is.
the
It's
list.
OP. It's OP.
But I'm gonna have to go the dragon flute. I'm gonna have to
Interesting
go the dragon
choice.
flute because not only is it just badass by itself, it's a flute that also summons the dragon zord. Because if you have the dragon flute, you automatically get the dragon zord. So, and next to Saba, and I think it's like one other weapon that's tied to a Mega Zord. I can't think of off the top of my head, but I'm gonna have to go the dragon flute.
Okay. Yeah, I would actually have to pick the brachio staff just because I like multifunctional stuff, just like the dragon flute. It
Mm.
doesn't give me a Zord, but you know what? I could destroy an entire monster with the flame. You remember that one episode when
Yeah,
he destroyed the giant monster just with the flame part of the brachio
yeah,
staff?
yeah, that was dope. Um, I will give an honorable mention to Saba because it's the only talking weapon, and it also comes with a Zord, and it
Yeah, that's
has
true.
sentience of its own.
It is kind
So
of helpful having a partner.
true, that is true. Okay, okay. What is your least favorite season of Power Rangers and why?
Ooh, this could get me in trouble. This could be
That's why
this.
I asked the question, Chris, because I know the answer and I know you know the actors, and they're gonna see you next year.
I mean, ooh, I gotta admit it's definitely Operation Overdrive. I
Oh,
mean,
that's not what I thought you was gonna say. Okay, but you will see them next year.
yeah. Um, I mean, ultimately, Operation Overdrive was definitely the worst, even like more than Megaforce or Super Megaforce. I mean that would come in close second. But Operation Overdrive, there are just certain characters that annoy the living snot out of me.
Yeah,
That I
yeah,
just I don't like at
yeah.
all. And then for me, like I know that there are some people that like disagree with me on this, but I kind of feel like the Rangers kind of punked out when they lost their powers. Like I know that there are those that disagree with me on that. I'm just like there's been other Rangers that lost their powers, like the Wild Force Rangers.
Right.
They're sitting there ripping off their shirts in the rain to attack a giant ogre. No, an overpowered ogre. They're just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna die in this, but like, ah! um, and when I'm watching Power Rangers, I'm not looking for realism. I'm looking for an escape from reality. So
Really?
yeah, I don't really look for because Power Rangers to me is supposed to be larger than life. I mean, granted, like they're supposed to be the people that I aspire to become in my mind, where it's like the epitome of heroism, the epitome of selflessness, and I just kind of felt like with the Overdrive Rangers suddenly losing their powers, they're just like, well, you know, this other team's got it. I'm useless, so I mean, and granted, they did come back, but only when they kind of realized that they're going to get their powers back.
Mm. I will say this about Operation Overdrive. They have specifically only three good things about that season that I like. Once and always special, or once a ranger, always a ranger, which
Yeah.
is why we have once and always. Granted, I'm pretty sure that was unintentional as fuck, but
Oh yeah.
whatever. They have some of the best, like Operation Overdrive, probably top five best non-ranger suits, like their civilian suits with
Yes,
the all
I'll
black
agree
and
with that.
the rank color trim. Love that. And I love
Yeah.
that their morpher sits there on their suit. Yeah, love that. And this is gonna be a weird one. It's a tie between I like the functionality of their morphers in conjunction of their power theme and their season and what they do.
Oh
So
yeah.
their morphers make sense to me, and they have two good Megazords out of the arsenal of Megazords that we do see in Operation Overdrive. We
I'll
don't
agree.
get Super Daiboken, which is like the one of the final ones that they get in Volcanger, but the first two we get look fine. But once they get the Ultra Zord, I'm like, nope, that looks dumb. And
Yeah.
it's a brick. It's a brick. You know I hate bricks. So yeah,
The
that's all I have to
brick
say about Operation
house.
Overdrive. I have nothing else positive to say about that season.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, it's a very, very close thing to Super Mega Force. Um, just Wooden Red Ranger. They tried to give him personality, didn't work out. They botched the Legendary War. They botched that hard.
Yeah, so hard. I don't understand since we're on Super Mega Force now, and Mega Force and Gokaiger, I don't understand how Gokaiger basically gave you the playbook. They gave you the cheat sheet with all the answers already
Yeah.
filled out. They gave you the answer of what to do with the Rangers you've never done before, which you kind of half-assed that one. And they basically gave you the blueprint of how you need to do the 20th anniversary season of Power Rangers and how it should be treated. And not only did they fumble, not only did they not score a home run when they're playing baseball, nobody's gonna get that reference because in baseball you hit home runs, and oh, I messed it up. Never mind. I messed it up. But they just did not knock it out the park. They
No.
tried to copy some stuff. Like the best episode they had was the Jungle Fury episode with Casey coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they kind of gave a really good excuse to the whole previous Sentai teams that we've never seen before, but it was just in one of those one-off lines that kind
New
of
powers.
right, you got new powers, even powers from Ranger teams we've never seen before on Earth.
It took the
Are
comic
these
books to explain the Die Ranger suits.
we're gonna get into that. Or maybe we could get into that. But I was thinking the whole time, like, okay, we know there's like other Rangers on other planets because we have the Aquitian Rangers. They
Right.
could have been like, these are Aquitian Rangers and they're different Ranger teams and things like that. They could have did that. That was an easy throwaway line right there.
Yep.
Jake getting that there's an easy explanation for that, and we never getting the explanation for why
Right.
he went from black to green. Just so much fail, just so much fucking fail
Yeah.
in Super Mega Force. And like you said, they completely botched the Legendary War.
And it's such a shame too, because most of the actors in that season are some of the coolest Ranger actors I've met. Like,
Yeah, no, I get you. What Sierra? I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
Sierra
yeah,
is
Sierra's really nice.
freaking cool. Um, like everybody has just been really, really cool. Like, I can't really speak for the Red Ranger. I haven't met him. I know certain people have their opinions on him, but I won't get into that. But or even speak on that. But
Right.
like everybody that I have met from that season has just been really, really cool, really, really personable. Actually, the Blue Ranger, I believe, he works at KEH Camera.
Okay.
So like we've had some good talks about like videography and camera work, photography, all that stuff. But just really, really stinking cool people that just got dealt a really bad hand.
I agree they got dealt a really bad hand. It is unfortunate that because again, they are actors and they were working with what the writers and what the writers gave them on the scripts and what the directors were giving them as far as their actions in front of the camera and the overall story. I get that. I understand none of them because I've interviewed almost all of them. None of them were like actual Ranger fans, like grew up watching Power Rangers prior to this, so I didn't expect them to do their own research and kind of come up with their own take of it. They did get such a raw deal because there's so much fail in that one season. Like, why was the Megaforce team and the Super Megaforce team the same team? They should have been separate teams.
It's true, they should have.
For the simple fact of the power set and like now you got the Gosei Angels are now the Gokai Pirates. That didn't really make sense to me.
And the funny thing about it is that they're like, oh well, we don't want pirates, but come on, they have the Jolly Roger on their ship. It's a pirate ship. They look like buccaneers. Like
right.
Come on.
And even the whole fact that like in Gokaiger, they were searching for the ultimate treasure, or I forgot what they called it, but they was searching for the precious, and the precious basically being the Ranger keys and how to unlock them and use teamwork to unlock the team special abilities and things like that, which works perfect for a pirate themed team of Power Rangers going around the world trying to defeat villains and uncovering the meaning of these powers and how they work, running up with previous Rangers from previous seasons and learning how they got the power of friendship and unlocking these fucking powers. Like, how did you fuck that up?
That's basically every Power Ranger point ever made. Like, like that's Power Rangers on a silver platter. And on top of that, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
This franchise.
And I want to say, just shame on Neo Saban. I mean, I know that's the name of the era, but shame on Saban. Like, how do you get the rights back after Disney? You changed the tone of Power Rangers. You fuck up the 20th anniversary special by doing whatever you did. Again, I know Nickelodeon is more responsible for the super season aspect of it. That's the dumbest thing ever. Like, why? We've never done that before. Why make it 2 seasons, a total of 40 episodes? We could just have the 1 season, a total of 40 episodes.
Right.
And we could have just moved on to the next season of Sentai and adapted that. Like, that made no sense. Now you're just drawing it out. Now we're behind the cycle, which we were always behind the cycle for so many different reasons compared to the Sentai. Again, I know I'm just ranting. I'm just a fan. I'm just somebody who grew up watching this shit for 31 years of his life.
We're just people that have an affinity for people in brightly colored spandex doing martial arts with rubber monsters.
Right. You don't understand how much money I have thrown at this item. I go to conventions and only buy Power Ranger stuff from Power Rangers. Like, cause
this wasn't cheap, y'all. This wasn't cheap.
Right. Like, oh, and you got the Master Morpher one, which I don't think they will ever make again. Let's do it. So you're so fucking lucky, sir. I just got the Red Ranger Legacy Morpher. There's nothing special about that. Anyway,
there's something special about the Legacy ones.
I know, but like when they was sending out those Master Morphers and everyone was getting them on TikTok and unboxing them, and I was like, I didn't even know.
And I love the fact that they also included the Falcon coin.
Oh, that's dope. That is dope. So it does come with all 6 of his 5 Ranger coins.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the Falcon one, the White Tiger, Green Dragon, Red Zeo, Red Turbo, and gotcha. Chris, I'm telling you this now. If I ever come over your house, if I'm ever invited to your house, I'm gonna just leave it at that.
I'm locking that up.
Yeah, or just never invite me to your house, because that's
Yeah.
the one. I don't
Nah,
care
man,
about the camera gear.
you
No,
gotta
I do
come.
care about the camera gear, but that's what I want. That's the one thing. If I was that type of person, that's what I'll get. But I'm
Nah, man.
unfortunately not.
There's a reason why I have it unboxed so that those that didn't have a chance to enjoy it can come over and enjoy it. So I will let you play with the Master Morpher if you come over.
Yeah, but the concept of ownership means something. I won't have the
I know.
same enjoyment with it.
Well, yeah, but you can handle it. It's nice.
No, I cannot. I may look like an adult, but on the inside, I'm that same 6-year-old kid that was like getting in trouble because we playing Power Rangers on the playground and everybody wanted to be the Red Ranger, and somebody got mad and had to push somebody down so they can be the Red Ranger, and now I'm in timeout.
So I will say that I have heard from an individual that has sources that we will see another Master Morpher launch.
Take my money now. Just take my money now.
uh,
Because I'm
as
sure
soon
that was not cheap. That had to not be cheap.
it was cheaper than I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty pricey. I'll tell you what, as soon as I hear something that something is going to be coming soon and when that might be, I will let you know. That
Yes.
way, because you deserve one of your own. You deserve a Master Morpher because, like, the thing about the Master Morpher is that these are the last recordings of Jason David Frank as Tommy, and a lot of the recordings are not even Tommy. They're basically Jason David Frank being Jason David Frank.
Mm.
Like there's this one there's this one like secret one where he's like vanilla, chocolate, strawberries from shakes from Ernie's juice bar. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and there's like all these different things. And there's even like a recording of him saying actually like calling himself Dr. O, which I don't think we ever even heard him saying that in
Right.
Dino Thunder.
Right.
So there's like a lot of Easter eggs in it. It's worth having just for the memories, the treasured memories of that. And it's just like kind of having Jason still around every once in a while.
Gotcha. That's dope. That is dope. That is dope. With that said, we have reached the end of the show, everybody. It is we have been talking about Power Rangers for almost an hour and 30 minutes now. I can go for another hour 30 minutes, but
Me too.
unfortunately I gotta get some food in me. I gotta this is the third podcast record I've done today. I need to take a break and just get my eyes in front of these lights. But before you go, I give everybody a segment at the end of the show to get up on a soapbox and talk about anything that's near and dear to their heart, whether it's positive or negative. You're on the spot. You have the floor. Soapbox.
So really the thing that's near and dear to my heart right now is I've started doing these Maker Monday lives on TikTok, and this is where I give different makers either in the Power Ranger community or just within the beautiful geekdom throughout the world a chance to get to have people get to know them and kind of showcase some of their products and how they got there, how they got to where they are now. It's really been helpful, especially to one of my favorite makers, Power Props Jess. She is just an outstanding individual that does outstanding work. So I'm glad to have that platform to where I can really showcase other creators and help them have a platform to be able to reach their target audience. So that's really kind of my passion project right now.
Gotcha. I was on your last Monday live yesterday.
Yeah.
And helped you get 11,000 likes.
Thank you.
No problem. I will do it every time you are on. You had Sentai jackets on, right? Sentai jackets,
Yeah.
You had Sentai jackets on. That was really good. Again,
so cool.
Take my money now. I'm getting one of those Sentai jackets.
Yeah, get one of those Rescue Series jackets. They're amazing.
Okay, so you brought it up, and he kind of, I don't know if I can say it here, but we know what his next lineup is going to be for Sentai jackets, and I absolutely love that idea. And I'm like, oh, okay, so much money is going to get wasted between now and next Raven
Start
Stop.
saving, man. Start saving. It's going to be incredible.
I know, but like I would want the Operation Overdrive civilian suits. That would look dope. Or even like the Ninja Storm civilian suits, or the ninja suits, not the Ranger suits, but the ninja suits. That would look dope.
They've actually done Operation Overdrive in the past.
Oh, they have. Okay, I need to go
yeah.
look into that because I would want the whole outfit, not just the jacket, but the whole outfit.
Oh, yeah, it was the whole outfit.
Okay.
But if their next one is successful, I can tell you the one that they're planning after that is really, really cool.
All right, I know what the next one is. What's the one after that?
I can't say. I'm
Okay.
tight-lipped on that one.
Okay, just text me. Just text me that.
Yeah,
but no, I'm really happy
for
the next one because the next one is going to be so awesome and it's going to be successful because of what the next one is. If I said it, you'll be like, oh, but I'll let them announce that. I won't ruin Sentai jackets. But I'm excited.
Set controls. That's all I'll say.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me and my guest Chris on Blerdkast. This has been a ball. I cannot wait to have you back on. Next time you come back on, we will talk about you and get to know you more specifically and find out what you like to geek out to. But until then, this has been Blerdkast. You can find Blerdkast everywhere where you listen to your podcast: Spotify, Anchor, Apple Music, Google Music, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and so much more. And you can also watch Blerdography on YouTube and subscribe to Blerdography social medias everywhere on the interwebs. It's all the same, just Blerdography, one word, Blerdography. And until next time, it's Morphin time.
I'm rescue ready.